This is Mirabella's kitchen, and today I'm making carnitas. If you'd like to cook with me, please check the description below for a list of the ingredients and a shout out to my Patreons. Today I'm making carnitas tacos. You can of course make carnitas burritos or whatever you'd like. I'm going to put this video in an order that would make the most sense for a viewer to cook along with me. It is not the route I chose to take. Unless you are partner cooking, I took a much more hectic route, so please learn from me. I take 3 to 4 pounds of pork shoulder. You can also use pork butt, and I cut it into large chunks about 2 to 4 inches in size, but the size of the chunks doesn't really matter. They're going to go into a Dutch oven and get nice and tender regardless. I also add in 4 cloves of crushed garlic to the Dutch oven with the pork. I roughly chop 1 medium to large sized yellow onion and add it in. I squeeze 2 oranges and I pour the juice over the pork as well as add in the orange peels. I do the same with 2 limes. I juice the limes, add the juice over the pork, and add in the lime peels. I add 1 bay leaf, 1 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1 teaspoon ground cumin, 1 tablespoon coarse kosher salt, and 1 tablespoon dark brown sugar. I add in 2 cups of water at the end to make sure everything's nice and incorporated. And I put the Dutch oven over medium-high heat to bring it up to a simmer before adding it into the oven. I add it into a 300 Fahrenheit degree oven to cook for 2 to 3 hours until the pork gets nice and tender. I cover the Dutch oven before adding it into the oven. My arms are short, and this was a heavy Dutch oven, and I had a lot of trouble trying to put it in, so I needed to call in some reinforcements, so those aren't my arms. And I put it in for 2 to 3 hours, and I say goodbye, because it's going to be a bit. At this point, I recommend preparing your guacamole to chill in the fridge, or at least at hour 2. I take 4 large avocados, I cut them in half, add some slices in, and squeeze their interiors into a mixing bowl. I also add the juice of 1 whole lime into the avocado, and you can also add in some onion at this point. I didn't have any extra onion. I lightly season with some coarse kosher salt and even less freshly ground black pepper. And then I take about 1/4 cup of chopped cilantro and add it in, and I also have extra cilantro on the side that will be for the carnitas tacos. I mash the avocado, which I forgot that footage, and I mix everything together. Next, I take 1 plantain. I'm using a yellow plantain, which is a sweet plantain. I remove the peel and I cut the plantain into 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch thick slices. I heat some vegetable oil over medium-high heat in a nonstick skillet. Once that oil is hot, I add in the plantains, and I recommend letting them fall down the side of the pan instead of dropping them the way I was. I was getting some splashes, and I don't want anybody to get burned. So once the plantains have started to brown and have a really nice, beautiful color to them, I flip them. It usually takes about 3 to 4 minutes. Once both sides have browned, I remove them to a plate with a paper towel to drain, and I like to top with some sugar. And after 3 hours, I have my beautiful carnitas. They made my house smell amazing. So I'm taking the meat and I'm draining the juice from the meat. So I have a sieve over a bowl to catch any excess juice before I put the pork onto a baking sheet. I save the excess juice, put it back into the Dutch oven after I've strained everything. I bring it up to medium-high heat to reduce. I also take 2 forks to shred the carnitas on the baking sheet. Once the juice has reduced, I pour the excess juice over the carnitas. I'm going to put them into the oven under the broiler for about 5 minutes. You want the broiler to be a high heat. And while that is broiling, I recommend warming some corn tortillas. I like to do about 10 to 15 seconds over medium-high heat on both sides, and I use 15 corn tortillas. At 5 minutes, I take the carnitas out from under the broiler, I flip it and put it back for another 5 minutes to get this really nice, beautiful dark brown to black color. And at this point, I'm preparing a platter. You can do it for yourself or your friends or your family. And I did 3 tacos per person. And so I add them to the tortillas and I top with a little pickled red onion. I'm using some from my favorite restaurant back in my hometown. I top with some chopped cilantro. I add a little bit of guacamole on the side. Some plantains. And some tortilla chips. And that's carnitas. Thanks for joining me today. I make new videos on cooking every Wednesday. Please support me on Patreon and on Facebook at Mirabella's Kitchen.